Hey guys, welcome to episode number 535. Today is Tuesday, so I have another tank tip for you, and today I wanted to shoot this video outside because the topic is about the outdoors. Now, if you are obsessed about aquariums and aquarium life, hopefully that also translates into a love for nature and the outdoor world. And if that's the case, it's important to know that around this time every year is when turtles emerge and start crossing the road. And that's really important because sometimes they need a little helping hand to get across the road safely. So that's what I wanted to talk about for a few minutes. So this is what happens, especially in the Northeast. Turtles will go down into the mud in the bottoms of ponds, and they will hibernate or brumate for the winter. And after the winter is over, the water starts to warm up. They pop up to the surface. Maybe they go bask for a day. It's a nice sunny day, and they start to warm up. At that point, they are on the move. A lot of them will look for other bodies of water, especially if they feel like the one that they're in is overcrowded, and especially if they're looking for a place to lay eggs. And so what happens oftentimes is when there's a road that crosses next to a body of water, whether it's a stream or a pond or something like that, often the turtles at this time of year in the spring will cross the road, and usually it will happen in around the same place. So I've got one near me, turtle crossing sign on the side of the road, and every year I see turtle pancakes on the road. And I have been lucky enough once to catch a turtle as it was crossing the road and to save that turtle. But there's a lot to consider when you're sort of in the process of doing this. So let's walk through it. If you happen to be driving by a body of water, you might not even see the water, but it may be next door, and you see something in the road, especially if you're sort of tuned into this, oftentimes it's not a rock, it's actually a turtle. And sometimes it won't be moving, and you can probably just, maybe slow down, take a quick look as you drive past, and then keep going. But if you see movement, if you see an intact turtle, it's important to take your own safety into consideration first, especially if you're driving. So if you see a turtle and you think it's in the road and you think it hasn't been hit yet, first thing to do is look behind you, make sure no one's tailgating you, slow down, pull over safely before you exit your vehicle and attempt to save the turtle. Obviously, you need to look both ways. You need to make sure there's no traffic coming before you run out into the road like a lunatic trying to save an animal. But if you do, and if you are successful, there's a few things you need to keep in mind. You need to look at the turtle and try to do a visual inspection to see if it has been struck by a car, or if you were lucky enough to get there before it has been hit. And oftentimes you'll see cars swerving, and that might be a sign that there is a turtle in the road. And if you can get one that hasn't been hit yet, oftentimes all you need to do is figure out where it was trying to go and help it get there. And that's all you need to do. If it looks like a snapping turtle or a musk turtle or anything that has like a hooked beak or is hissing at you or anything like that, you may need to take some extra precaution when grabbing those things, especially if they are fairly large. They can bite and it can be painful, and if you're trying to dodge traffic and grab a snapping turtle at the same time, everything is out to get you. So definitely be careful in an instance like that. If it's something a little easier to manage, like a painted turtle or something that obviously isn't out to bite and is just trying to make its way across the road, you can grab those things, get off of the road, and perform a visual inspection of that animal. What you're looking for is to make sure that it isn't bleeding, that there aren't any crushed limbs, that the shell hasn't been cracked by the wheel or the tire of a car. If everything looks good, if the turtle is responsive, if it looks at you and is sort of flapping its legs and trying to get away, and everything looks a-okay, you're probably good to help save that animal. If it has been hit, if it is damaged, you need to sort of assess on your own if you think that turtle has a chance of making it. If it's just like a leg that looks like it might be broken, you know, that is a candidate maybe to call a vet or to drop off to like an animal hospital. Perhaps if the shell itself is crushed, that is where things get a lot trickier. I've seen plenty of articles online where people have rescued turtles off the road with crushed shells and have been successful in bringing those back and saving them, saving their lives. But it is a very tricky process, and it's something that you know, the average person isn't going to have the time or the resources or the knowledge, the know-how to be able to handle. So you know, in a case where you think the turtle is just, you know, a little too far gone, you know, you might want to cut your losses and, you know, just move on yourself. It's sort of a sad fact of life. You know, we build roads next to streams and ponds. It's a place people want to live, and this is just something that happens. So if you sort of live next to an area like this, if you see a recurring problem like this, there are a few things you can do. I think first and foremost would be contacting your town, letting them know that you've seen this or that you've seen this recurring pattern on a stretch of roadway, and see if they'd be willing to put up a turtle crossing sign. It's really no different from a deer crossing sign or a moose crossing sign. It's just a friendly reminder to people that are driving by to maybe slow down and be a little bit more cautious as they're driving, because they might be able to help save one or two in the process. I think that's a good start, and it's something you can do locally to help out. Otherwise, another thing you can do is try to get involved with like a local turtle rescue or reptile organization, or maybe even, you know, an animal hospital, like on the weekends or something like that. See if they need help, see if they deal with reptiles, and see if that's something you'd be interested in helping out with. Anyways, guys, I thought that was an interesting thing to talk about real quick. Be on the lookout as you're driving around, and if you do notice a turtle in the road, remember these tips before you get out of the car to help out. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.